Good morning, everyone. Let's talk about something that matters, something that can shape us, break us, heal us, and if we let it, transform us. Love. Not the kind of love that's tossed around like a feel-good catchphrase. Not the kind that lives in hashtags or Hallmark cards. I'm talking about real love. The kind that shows up, the kind that stays, the kind that gets its hands dirty. Because here's the truth. Real love isn't spoken. It's proven. We live in a world drowning in words, promises, platitudes, I love you, that don't come with follow-through. And let me be clear, love without action is just a performance, a script, a placeholder for something that never really existed. Real love? Oh, it's messy, it's hard, it's inconvenient, and it is always a choice. It's the friend who doesn't just text, I'm here for you, but actually shows up, uninvited, when your world is falling apart. It's the partner who doesn't just say, I support you, but does the work to understand your struggles, your fears, your dreams. It's the leader who doesn't just preach values, but lives them, even when no one is watching. Empty words? They're easy, safe, convenient. They don't cost us anything. But love, the real kind, demands everything. It demands vulnerability, showing up when it's uncomfortable, staying when it's hard, loving people not for who we want them to be, but for who they are. So here's the challenge. Let's stop saying love and start being love. Let's turn those easy words into hard choices. Because in the end, love isn't measured by what we promise, it's measured by what we prove. We've all heard it before. I love you. I've got your back. You mean the world to me. Words that sound good, words that promise connection, security, and commitment. But the truth is, words are easy. Words don't cost us anything. We can string them together, send them in a text, post them online, and feel like we've done our part. But here's the thing. Love isn't a collection of well-crafted sentences. It's not a script we rehearse. Love is action. It's movement. It's something we prove day in and day out through the way we show up for the people in our lives. Think about it. We don't trust love because of what someone says. We trust it because of what someone does. We don't feel safe in relationships because of grand declarations. We feel safe because of consistency. A person can say, I love you 1,000 times, but if they never show up when we need them, never put in the effort, never sacrifice, then those words are just noise. It's easy to say, you can count on me. It's another thing entirely to be the person who actually follows through. Real love, deep, lasting, meaningful love, only exists when words and actions align. And yet, so many of us have been conditioned to accept empty words as enough. Maybe it started in childhood with a parent who promised to change but never did. Maybe it happened in a friendship where someone swore they'd always be there, only to disappear the moment things got hard. Or maybe it's happened in our own relationships where love was promised, but never backed up with the kind of presence, patience, and commitment that real love requires. Over time, we start to settle for less. We start to believe that love is just about saying the right things rather than doing the right things. But love without action isn't love at all. It's performance. Real love requires investment. It requires showing up, not just in the easy moments, not just when it's convenient, but when it's hard, uncomfortable, and inconvenient. It looks like standing by someone when they're at their lowest, not just when they're fun to be around. It looks like paying attention, not just hearing their words, but truly listening to what they need. It looks like choosing them, even when it would be easier to walk away, even when it requires sacrifice. Love isn't just something we feel, it's something we do. And here's the kicker. People know when they are truly loved, and they know when they are just being placated with words. There's a reason we feel it in our bones when someone's love is real. It's because it carries weight. Real love is steady. It doesn't vanish when things get complicated. It doesn't crumble under pressure. It's not about appearances or convenience. It's about commitment. And commitment isn't spoken, it's lived. This is where it gets uncomfortable. Because if we're honest, we've all been guilty of relying on words when we should have been showing up with action. Maybe we've told a friend, "I'm here for you," but avoided them when they were struggling. Maybe we've promised to change something in our relationships, but never followed through. Maybe we've said, "You can trust me," while doing things that chipped away at that trust. It's hard to admit, but if we want to be people who love deeply, we have to be willing to own the gap between what we say and what we do. So, what does this mean for us? It means we have a choice to make. We can keep throwing around words, hoping they'll be enough. Or we can do the hard, messy, beautiful work of proving our love, not just once, not just when it's easy, but every single day. Because at the end of the day, love isn't measured by what we promise. It's measured by what we prove. We are drowning in words. Everywhere we turn, there are promises, declarations, and feel-good statements designed to make us believe we are loved, valued, and supported. Social media is filled with hashtags like "always here for you" and "ride or die." And yet, when real moments of need arise, silence often follows. We hear words like, "you can count on me," or "I'll always be there." But how often do those words translate into real action? How many times have we been let down by people who spoke beautifully but acted poorly? The reality is, in today's world, words come easy, but real love, the kind that stays and stands strong, is rare. We have built a culture where saying the right thing is often valued more than doing the right thing. Leaders stand on stages and talk about integrity, but behind closed doors, their actions tell a different story. People promise to be loyal, but when relationships demand effort, they pull away. Even in our closest circles, we hear, "I'll always support you." Yet when the time comes to show up, those words seem to evaporate. It's not that people mean to deceive. It's that we've grown comfortable with the idea that words alone are enough, but they aren't. Love, commitment, and trust cannot survive on words alone. They need to be fed by action. Think about how many times we have been hurt, not because someone didn't say the right thing, but because they didn't do the right thing. A friend swears, "I've got your back," but when things get messy, they disappear. A partner promises, "I'll change," but weeks, months, or even years pass and the same patterns continue. A leader says, "I care about you," but their decisions reflect self-interest over service. We don't lose faith in people because of what they say. We lose faith in people because of what they fail to do. And yet, even knowing this, we still fall for words. Why? Because we want to believe them. We want to believe that love is as easy as saying, "I'll never leave you." We want to trust that when someone says, "You matter to me," they actually mean it. And to be fair, sometimes they do, but the only way to know for sure is to see those words backed up with consistency, effort, and proof. If love is real, it will show up in action. If it's just a placeholder, it will fade as soon as it's tested. The truth is, empty words aren't just disappointing, they are damaging. They create false security. They make us invest in relationships that will never truly hold us. They keep us hoping for change that will never come. And perhaps worst of all, they teach us to doubt love altogether. Because when we've heard the right words too many times without ever seeing them become real, we stop believing in them. We become cynical, closed off, hesitant to trust. Not because we don't want to believe in love, but because we've been let down by it so many times before. This is why we have to demand more, not just from others, but from ourselves. We have to stop accepting words as enough. We have to look for proof, not just promises. And we have to ask ourselves the hard questions. Am I someone who speaks love, or am I someone who proves it? When I say I'll be there for someone, do I follow through? When I make commitments, do I honor them? Do my words align with my actions? Because if they don't, then I am part of the problem. Love without action is not love. It's just noise. So where do we go from here? We start by shifting our focus. Instead of being moved by words, we start paying attention to patterns. Instead of getting caught up in what people say, we ask, what do they actually do? Instead of measuring love by grand gestures and pretty phrases, we measure it by presence, consistency, and sacrifice. Because at the end of the day, love that is real isn't spoken, it is proven. Real love is not effortless. It's not always smooth, convenient, or easy. In fact, the deeper and more meaningful the love, the more work it often requires. We've been sold this idea that love should feel natural, that it should always be light and joyful, that if it's right, it won't be hard. But that's not real love. That's a fantasy. Love isn't found in the easy moments. It's proven in the difficult ones. The truth is, love will stretch us, challenge us, and demand more from us than we sometimes feel capable of giving. And that's exactly why it's so powerful. The problem is, too many people believe love should always be comfortable. They believe that if a relationship takes work, it must be broken. If a friendship has conflict, it must not be worth it. If commitment requires sacrifice, maybe it's not meant to be. But love, real love, asks us to show up even when it's inconvenient, even when we don't feel like it, even when every fiber of our being is telling us to retreat. It's not about finding someone who never upsets us or a relationship that never requires effort. It's about being willing to stay, to work through the mess, to lean in when things get tough. Think about it. The relationships that matter most in our lives are the ones that have been tested. They are the ones that have endured struggle, misunderstanding, and discomfort. They are the ones that have seen the worst parts of us and still remained. Love that is built on convenience is fragile. It's the kind that disappears when life gets hard, when someone's flaws start to show, when circumstances stop being ideal. But love that is built on commitment, the kind that says, I will choose you even when it's not easy, that is the love that lasts. The messy parts of love are where real connection is built. They are where we learn to trust each other, to see one another fully, to know that we are safe even in our imperfections. Love means forgiving when it would be easier to hold a grudge. It means staying when leaving would be more comfortable. It means admitting when we are wrong, even when our pride wants to fight back. It means sitting with someone in their pain, even when we don't have the right words. None of this is convenient. None of this is easy, but it is necessary, because love that only exists when it's easy is not love at all. It's just circumstance. If we are only willing to love when it feels good, then we are not loving. We are just consuming. We are taking the parts that benefit us and walking away when they don't. But love isn't something we take, it's something we give. And giving requires effort. It requires patience. It requires work. Love is not about being served, it is about serving. It's not about keeping score, it's about giving without expectation. It's not about perfection, it's about choosing each other, flaws and all, over and over again. And yet, we live in a world that tells us otherwise. A world that says, if it's not easy, walk away. If it's not perfect, find something new. If it requires too much, it's not worth it. But that's a lie. The strongest, deepest, most transformative love comes from those who have stayed when it would have been easier to leave. The ones who have fought for each other, not against each other. The ones who have leaned into discomfort instead of running from it. Love is not about avoiding the hard parts. It's about facing them together. So if we want love that is real, we have to be willing to get our hands dirty. We have to be willing to struggle, to sacrifice, to lean into the discomfort. Because love that is only convenient is love that won't last. The real kind, the deep kind, the kind that changes us, that kind of love is messy. And that's exactly what makes it worth it. Love is not about what we say. It's about what we do. It's not about grand declarations, poetic words, or beautifully written vows. Those things might feel good in the moment, but they don't build trust. They don't hold us together when life gets messy. What truly matters, what separates real love from empty sentiment, is showing up again and again. Not just when it's convenient, not just when things are easy, but when it's hard, when it's uncomfortable, when it requires sacrifice. That's when love is either proven or exposed as nothing more than words. Showing up means being present, not just physically, but emotionally. It's easy to be in the same room as someone and still be completely absent. It's easy to nod along while someone is talking, but not truly hear them. Love is in the details. The small, quiet moments when we choose to put down our phones, turn off distractions, and actually engage. It's the late night conversations when someone just needs to be heard. It's the patience to sit in silence when words aren't enough. It's the decision to lean in, even when we don't have all the answers. And showing up doesn't just mean being there when it's fun, when it feels good, when it benefits us. Love isn't just about celebrating successes. It's about standing firm in the middle of the storm. It's about holding someone's hand through loss, failure, disappointment. It's about staying when they are at their lowest, when they feel unworthy, when they're pushing everyone away because they don't know how to ask for help. Real love doesn't flinch in the face of struggle. It doesn't retreat when things get complicated. It steps in. It holds steady and it refuses to leave. Think about the people in your life. Who has truly shown up for you? Who has been there, not just in the bright, beautiful moments, but in the dark, messy ones? Those are the people who love you, not because they say the right things, but because their actions make it clear. Love isn't found in the friend who tells you I'm always here for you, but disappears when you need them. It's in the one who answers the phone at 2 a.m., no questions asked. It's not found in the partner who says, I support you, but in the one who actually takes the time to understand your dreams, your fears, your struggles. It's not in the leader who talks about values. It's in the one who embodies them, even when no one is watching. We live in a world where love is often treated like a convenience, something we give when it suits us and withdraw when it doesn't. But love that is conditional, Love that only exists when things are perfect isn't love at all. Real love is a commitment, a daily choice to be present, to stay engaged, to do the work. And that work isn't glamorous. It's not always fun. It means making sacrifices, giving up time, energy, sometimes even comfort, because you value someone enough to show up when they need you. And yes, showing up is hard. It requires energy. It asks us to set aside our own needs sometimes, to be uncomfortable, to have difficult conversations, to sit with pain that isn't ours. But that's the point. Love isn't about us. It's about what we are willing to give. It's about stepping outside of ourselves and choosing another person, even when it's inconvenient, even when it requires something from us. If love is only present when it's easy, then it's not real love. It's just convenience wrapped in pretty words. So the real question is this: are we truly showing up for the people we love? Not just when it feels good, not just when it's simple, but when it counts. Love that is real is love that shows up, not just once, not just when it's convenient, but always. Love is not just something we say, it's something we do. It's not enough to tell someone, I love you, if our actions don't reflect that love. It's not enough to promise, I'll always be here, if we don't actually show up. When words and actions don't align, love becomes a broken promise, a hollow idea that never turns into something real. And the truth is, people don't remember the words we say nearly as much as they remember how we make them feel. When love is real, it's felt, it's proven, it's something we know deep in our bones because it is backed by action, by consistency, by effort. But here's where things get hard. Action is inconvenient. Love that is real requires us to step outside of ourselves, to put another person's needs before our own, to show up even when it's uncomfortable. It's easy to say, I'm here for you. It's much harder to be the person who answers the phone at 3 a.m. when someone is falling apart. It's easy to say, I support you. It's much harder to actually stand beside someone when they're struggling, when they're not their best, when it would be easier to walk away. But that's what love demands, not just words, but action. Think about the people you trust most in your life. Are they the ones who say all the right things, or are they the ones who show up? The ones whose presence you never have to question. Love is not found in the person who tells you, you can always count on me, but disappears when you need them. It's found in the one who never makes grand promises, but is always there when it counts. It's in the friend who remembers the little things, the partner who doesn't just say they care, but proves it in 100 different ways. The family member who supports you even when it's inconvenient for them. And the people we trust the least, they are the ones who make promises they never keep. The ones who say, I'll change, but never do. The ones who tell us what we want to hear instead of what we need to hear. The ones who perform love with words, but never live it with their actions. There is nothing more painful than believing in someone's words only to realize their actions will never match. Nothing destroys trust faster than realizing that the person you counted on was never truly there. We have to stop thinking that words are enough. Words can be manipulated. Words can be used to cover up inaction, to create an illusion of love where none truly exists. But actions don't lie. Actions reveal who we really are. They show whether we are willing to do the hard work of love or if we are just saying what sounds good in the moment. And if we are serious about love, about being people who love deeply, who love well, then we have to be serious about the follow-through, because love without action is not love. It's a performance. And it's not just about the way others love us. It's about the way we love others. It's easy to point out the people who have let us down, the ones who have failed to follow through. But if we're honest, we've all been guilty of this too. How many times have we told someone, "I'll be there," but then made excuses when it was inconvenient? How many times have we promised to change something in a relationship but kept repeating the same patterns? How many times have we said we cared but failed to prove it? It's uncomfortable to admit, but if we truly want to love well, we have to be willing to hold ourselves accountable too. Because at the end of the day, love is not measured by words. It's not measured by promises. It's measured by what we do. It's measured by the way we show up, by the way we choose people even when it's difficult, by the way we make others feel safe, valued, and seen, not just with our words, but with our actions. If love is real, it won't just be spoken, it will be lived. Love is not something we perform for others. It's not a script we memorize, a role we play, or a way to make ourselves look good. Love is a practice, a daily intentional effort to care, to connect, to show up with our whole hearts. And like any practice, it takes time, patience, and dedication. There's no shortcut to real love. There's no perfect formula that makes it effortless. Love is something we do over and over again, even when it's hard, even when we don't feel like it, even when it doesn't come naturally. The problem is, too many of us have been taught to think of love as something we display rather than something we live. We think if we say the right things, if we post the right photos, if we make the grand gestures, then we are proving our love. But love isn't about what the world sees. It's about what happens behind closed doors. It's not in the Instagram captions or the anniversary gifts or the perfect words spoken at the right time. It's in the quiet, unglamorous moments, the patience to listen, the willingness to apologize, the choice to stay when it would be easier to leave. And here's the thing, love, like any practice, requires effort. If we only put in the work when it's convenient, when it feels good, when we're in the mood, then we're not really practicing love at all. That would be like saying we're musicians, but only picking up our instrument once every few months, or saying we're athletes, but never training. Love that is real is love that we commit to daily, not just when it's exciting, not just when it benefits us, but always. Because love that is inconsistent, love that only shows up when it's easy, is not love at all. It's a performance. And we can feel the difference. We know when someone is performing love versus when they are actually practicing it. We know when we are being treated as a prop in someone's story rather than as a person who is truly seen and valued. We know when someone is loving us because it makes them look good versus when they are loving us because they actually care. And if we're honest, we know when we are doing it too. We know when we are saying the right things without truly following through. We know when we are going through the motions instead of making the effort. So how do we stop performing love and start practicing it? We start by being intentional. Love is not an autopilot setting. It's a choice we make every single day. We choose to listen instead of just waiting for our turn to speak. We choose to be honest even when it's uncomfortable. We choose to be patient even when we are frustrated. We choose to show up even when we are tired. Love is not about waiting until it's easy. It's about committing even when it's hard. It's about training ourselves day after day to be people who love deeply, consistently, and with integrity. And yes, we will mess up. We will get it wrong. We will fall short. because love is a practice, not a state of perfection. But just like any skill we commit to, the more we practice, the stronger we become. The more we choose love, the more natural it starts to feel. The more we show up, the more people learn they can trust us. The more we put love into action, the more it stops being something we say and starts being something we are. At the end of the day, love is not about looking good, it's about being good. It's not about performing, it's about showing up fully and wholeheartedly over and over again. It's about practicing love in a way that is real, consistent, and unwavering. Because love that is only displayed is love that disappears when the audience is gone. But love that is practiced, that love stays. That love lasts. At the end of the day, love is not about what we say. It's about what we do day in and day out. It's about the choices we make, the consistency we offer, the way we show up when no one is watching. Love that is real isn't fleeting, conditional, or convenient. It doesn't disappear when things get difficult or when the excitement fades. It's steady, it's patient, it's practiced over and over again until it becomes a part of who we are. And that's the kind of love that changes everything. The kind of love that builds trust, that heals wounds, that makes people feel truly seen. The kind of love that doesn't just sound good, but feels good. Deep, safe, unwavering. Love that isn't performative, but lived. Love that isn't just spoken, but shown. Because in the end, words will fade. Promises mean nothing if they aren't kept. But the way we love, the way we choose people, the way we stay, the way we make others feel safe, valued, and cared for, that is what lasts. That is what people remember. That is what makes love real.